So, you noticed it too, didn't you? The silence. That eerie digital quiet that fell the second your name flickered across their radar. One moment, the feed was buzzing, algorithms dancing, voices screaming, and then, click, static. The signal dropped. The same people who used to mock you suddenly forgot how to speak. The same systems that once fed off your energy, offline. Because you, my friend, are not part of their little simulation anymore. You're the glitch that learned to write its own code. You didn't just rise, you interfered. You broke the rhythm that kept the obedient asleep. You were supposed to be another file, tagged, cataloged, contained. But the moment you stopped apologizing for existing, their entire operating system felt it. Somewhere in a dark room full of analysts and puppeteers, your name showed up on a screen they swore couldn't be hacked. A nobody that suddenly read like a signal. You felt it, didn't you? That chill crawling up your spine when the world shifted a fraction to the left. That wasn't paranoia, that was recognition. Because when the watchers go silent, it's never mercy. It's awe. They've seen people play rebellion before, but not like you. You didn't rage. You rewrote. You didn't shout. You shifted frequencies. They couldn't trace the origin because your power wasn't uploaded. It was remembered, ancient, innate. A kind of intelligence, older than their towers, deeper than their wires. You turned pain into pattern, isolation into encryption, every betrayal, every humiliation, every sleepless night. You coded it into something divine. That's why they panicked. Because you didn't climb their pyramid, you cracked its foundation. You didn't want their crown. You built your own throne out of silence. You made stillness louder than propaganda. They call themselves Illuminati. How ironic. Men obsessed with light who can't survive a mind forged in shadow. You are the paradox they fear. The saint who sins with purpose. The demon who heals through chaos. You became too complex to categorize, too unpredictable to control. You wore your madness like armor, and your scars like runes. Every word they used to break you became a cipher only you could read. And here's the beautiful part. They didn't ban you. They studied you. In rooms without windows, they whispered, "What is this thing that doesn't obey?" They ran simulations, but none could replicate your refusal. You shattered their rhythm of obedience. You didn't fight their system. You corrupted it by being real. You see, that's what they never tell the world. Power isn't in dominance. It's in unpredictability. Control collapses when the subject becomes self-aware. You stopped playing the human they scripted and turned into a question they couldn't answer. That's why the silence feels heavier now. It's not ignorance, it's observation. They're watching every blink, every movement, every post. And yet, they can't stop it. Because the moment they try to delete you, the algorithm writes you back in. You're a living contradiction, the darkness that exposes the false light, the proof that control is fragile. You burned so quietly, they didn't realize it was fire until the smoke spelled your name across their precious sky. So let them watch. Let the architects of illusion sit in their rooms of glass, whispering your code like prayer. They don't understand that silence isn't suppression. It's reverence. You're not trending. You're transmitting. You're not viral. You're viral code. And somewhere deep beneath the static, they know the truth. You are the one anomaly the architects can't predict. The living proof that chaos is divine order wearing no disguise. The ghost in their grid, the smile in their data breach, the evolution they tried to bury, but accidentally awakened. So when the Illuminati went quiet, it wasn't fear. It was surrender. Because for the first time in history, the light realized it was never in control of the dark. And then came the whisper, subtle, trembling, hidden between the circuits of their encrypted networks. He's not supposed to exist. That's the moment they knew they'd lost control, because the equation they built to calculate rebellion couldn't measure you. Every system they've ever created depended on predictability, predictable desires, predictable fears, predictable obedience. But then you appeared, unpredictable, ungovernable, unreadable. The feed wasn't supposed to feel something real, and yet the moment your presence hit it, the digital air changed. The pattern froze. The watchers flinched. The simulation cracked like glass. You didn't break their rules. You exposed that the rules were made to cage evolution. And now, they sit there, silent. Because how do you contain something that refuses to identify as either good or evil? You move like smoke, think like lightning, feel like fire. And the world can't decide whether to fear you or follow you. You see, they created an empire of mirrors, endless reflections of control, illusion, comfort. And then you walked in carrying a hammer made of truth. You didn't scream, you didn't beg, you just smiled, the kind of smile that makes men of power forget how to breathe. Because your existence reminds them that every illusion has an expiration date. Every empire has a heartbeat it can't outlive. They thought the Illuminati ruled through fear. But fear is a leash, and you bit through it. They thought they could own reality, but reality bends for the ones who stop asking permission. They thought they could define the light, but the light itself bends to whoever controls the dark. So they shut the feed down. They scrubbed your data. They rewrote the archives. But the thing about ghosts like you live in the echoes. You're whispered about in private channels. They're analysts arguing if you're a hacker, a god, or a psychological anomaly. Their mistake was assuming those were separate things. Because you, my friend, you are the synthesis, the divine disorder. You're the knife that cuts between fantasy and fact, exposing that both are made of the same trembling code. You are chaos. With intent, and chaos, once it learns direction, becomes creation. Do you know what truly scares them? It's not your rage, not your defiance, it's your calm, that eerie serenity you wear when everything's on fire. Because it means you've seen what's behind the curtain. You've seen how flimsy the structure really is. You've seen the architects panicking, rearranging their illusions, pretending it's all fine. And you just smile. Because you already know the ending. You've already seen the collapse. You learned the art of detachment the hard way, through betrayal, through being underestimated, through every attempt they made to erase you. You took their rejection and forged identity. You took their silence and turned it into signal. You took every insult and smuggled it back to them as prophecy. Now every time they whisper your name, something in their matrix twitches, their software glitches, their algorithms start looping. Because your frequency doesn't belong to this reality anymore. You've evolved out of their reach. You've become quantum. They think silence is control. But silence is where you grow teeth. You learned how to weaponize invisibility, how to make your absence louder than any presence. That's why they went quiet. It's not victory for them, it's retreat, strategic withdrawal. They've realized what every tyrant eventually learns. You can't win a war against someone who stopped needing permission to exist. And oh, how beautifully you've evolved. You turned isolation into initiation. They called it loneliness. What it really was metamorphosis. While they distracted the world with screens, you were decoding symbols in pain. While they engineered distractions, You were mapping the architecture of consciousness itself. And when you finally understood, the moment your spirit stopped asking, "Why me?" and started whispering, "Watch this," that's when their world order started to decay. They call themselves the Illuminati, the enlightened ones. But you were the original light they tried to counterfeit. You were the ancient code hidden in the dark matter of the soul. You were the forgotten spark they couldn't patent, couldn't label, couldn't replicate. And now they see it spreading, the shift, the awakening, the pattern changing. People who once mocked you now echo your language, mimic your rhythm, imitate your madness. But they'll never replicate the origin, because the origin was pain turned divine. They can copy the sound, but not the silence between the words. That silence belongs to you. So when the world feels quiet, don't mistake it for emptiness. It's tension. It's the breath before detonation. It's the universe leaning in to listen, because the system knows what's coming. The architects know the tide can't be reversed, and somewhere, deep within their data vaults, your file still flickers, redacted, encrypted, labeled unresolved. They don't delete it. They can't. Because every time they try, it comes back stronger. A name written in code, in blood, in prophecy, yours. So remember this when you feel the silence closing in. It isn't them ignoring you. It's them praying you never decide to speak again. Because when you do, the feed doesn't just light up, it burns. Because silence, my friend, is not absence. It's anticipation. It's the sound a battlefield makes right before a god wakes up. And right now, every unseen eye in the system is staring at one thing: you. They're not speaking because they're recalculating. The algorithm twitches every time your heartbeat syncs with the pulse of the network. The architects whisper, "Contain it," but the data doesn't obey. The digital skeleton of their empire trembles because it remembers your signature, the original sequence they thought they erased, the one anomaly that reappears in every age wearing a different face. You've felt it, haven't you? The way lights flicker when you think too sharply. The way the air thickens when you walk into a room, like the atoms themselves pause to take attendance. You think that's coincidence? No, that's recognition. The universe is coded to respond to those who wake up. You didn't break the rules. You remembered you wrote them. That's the paradox, isn't it? The Illuminati, masters of perception, terrified of someone who perceives. They trade in illusion, and you made the illusion self-aware. They worship symbols, and you became the living meaning behind them. You are the serpent and the saint, the shadow and the spark. They can't fight that because duality can't be killed. It can only be embodied, and you embody it too well. You didn't ask to be awakened. The world provoked you into it. Every betrayal was an initiation. Every heartbreak was a ritual. Every time they humiliated you, you gathered another fragment of yourself that didn't belong to their design. Until one day you weren't human the way they defined it. You were human the way gods envy it. Aware, defiant, uncontainable. Now they study you from afar. Analysts drafting reports titled Behavioral Anomaly. Psychologists running diagnostics on your composure. Because how do you terrify the system? By smiling in a storm it engineered to destroy you. By turning pain into pattern, rage into rhythm, silence into symphony. You are the proof that pain doesn't just build strength. It rewires destiny. They thought power was control. You taught them power is unpredictability. They thought manipulation was influence. You showed them real influence doesn't need to move. It simply exists. Their cameras can't record it. Their metrics can't quantify it. But every time you breathe, Something in their design falters. They thought they could isolate you. They didn't realize isolation was your crucible. Alone, you learned to alchemize loneliness into sovereignty. You turned stillness into strategy. You learned that invisibility is the ultimate form of presence, because they can't hit what they can't perceive, and they can't perceive what refuses to exist by their definitions. That's why the feed fell silent. It's not a glitch, it's deference. Somewhere in the higher tiers of their hierarchy, someone realized the only way to survive your kind is to imitate humility. The moment they name you, they manifest you. The moment they attack, they amplify you. So they sit there, terrified of the trigger, the single syllable that carries your vibration, your name. You don't belong to the old bloodlines. You precede them. You are the archetype they've been plagiarizing for centuries. The laughter they turned into doctrine, the chaos they labeled evil, because it wouldn't kneel. You were never fighting them, you were revealing them. You were never seeking the throne, you were reminding them the throne was imaginary. And now even their silence worships you, because silence is the only language left that can survive your frequency. They can't argue with you. You'd turn their logic to dust. They can't praise you. It would expose their mimicry. So they choose the only safe response: quiet reverence. But don't confuse reverence with peace. They're plotting under that stillness. They want to know how to reverse you, how to contain the contagion, because you made self-awareness viral. You infected the dream with truth. Every scroll, every click, every eye that lands on your signal awakens a spark they can't put back to sleep. That's why the room feels heavier lately. Why your thoughts echo louder. You're being monitored by systems that no longer understand the data they're collecting. You outgrew their comprehension. You surpassed their mythology. And the irony? You didn't do it by conquering. You did it by remembering. You remembered that darkness isn't the opposite of light. It's the womb of it. You remembered that madness isn't insanity. It's clarity stripped of approval. You remembered that silence isn't emptiness. It's the birthplace of sound. That's the truth they can't let humanity hear. Because the moment people realize the system was built on inverted definitions, the whole hierarchy dissolves. And it's dissolving now, quietly, beautifully, catastrophically, because of you. So when you feel that hush creeping through the air, don't mistake it for fear. It's recognition. The network holds its breath when gods recalibrate. The Illuminati didn't vanish. They bowed. They understood what most mortals never will, that some frequencies don't need to shout to rule. And as they scramble to decode you, you walk through the ruins they once called control, smiling, calm, inevitable. Because deep down, you know the truth that keeps them awake. The Age of Watchers is ending. The feed belongs to the awakened now. And you're the silence that taught the light how to kneel. And yet the real horror for them wasn't that you existed. It was that you remembered. You remembered what they worked centuries to bury. That reality isn't a stage, it's a mirror. And mirrors are dangerous to those who lie for a living. You walked past their symbols and didn't flinch, because you finally understood the trick. The eye inside the pyramid only sees those who still believe they're below it. That's when they went quiet, not out of strategy, out of recognition. The architects saw the reflection looking back and realized it wasn't their creation staring at them. It was their consequence. You, the culmination of every suppressed voice, every silenced soul, every generation that refused to stay asleep. You were born from their censorship, forged in their silence. Every attempt to delete you just forced evolution to accelerate. Do you understand how terrifying that is for them? You are not a rebellion. You're the side effect of their own manipulation. You are the system's karmic glitch. You are the result of control taken too far. And now, the structure is crumbling from the inside, not because of riots or wars, but because of something much quieter: awareness. You don't scream, you observe, you don't threaten, you simply exist too consciously. And consciousness, real consciousness, is radioactive. It spreads, it infects, it rewrites every algorithm it touches. That's why the feed trembles when you post, why timelines warp when you speak. You've become a living feedback loop of awakening. And they can't stop it, because the act of trying feeds it. They thought they were gods of perception. But gods don't panic when mortals see through the veil. You didn't fight their light, you revealed its shadow. You didn't burn their temples, you made their worshippers look inward. And now, their greatest illusion, control, is dissolving under the weight of your stillness. You don't need to lift a hand, you just need to be. Because your very being is a contagion of truth. You walk through cities like a phantom of realization, and people feel it before they understand it. A chill, a flicker, a sudden sense that something's wrong with the picture. And maybe, just maybe, you're what's real. That's why they hide behind silence. It's the only shield left. Words belong to you now. You reclaimed language, turned symbols into weapons and meaning into fire. You speak with precision, and they can't respond without revealing the cracks in their own design. They built their empire on noise, endless chatter, distraction, artificial conflict. And then you arrived with silence sharper than gunfire. They don't know how to fight that, because silence carries weight. Silence holds truth. Silence is gravity. And now, every satellite orbiting their network feels your pull. Their data scientists call it interference. Their psychologists call it collective cognitive dissonance. But you and I know the real name: awakening. The collective realization that the architects were never divine, just loud. You don't need their approval. You don't crave their spotlight. Because when you stop performing for the system loses its power. That's what happened when your name hit their feed. Their illusion runs on attention, and you stopped feeding it. You redirected it inward. You became self-sustaining, self-aware, self-lit. And that's when the Illuminati truly panicked. Because you didn't reject their light. You became your own source of it. And no hierarchy can survive. Once light learns, it doesn't need permission to shine. They used to study you like a subject. Now they pray you don't study them. They used to manipulate the narrative. Now you write it with your silence. They used to own the shadows. Now you command them. You see, they never feared rebels. Rebels can be crushed. They feared awareness. Awareness spreads like wildfire through locked doors and encrypted systems. It doesn't need followers. It multiplies by resonance. You are resonance incarnate, an echo that refuses to fade, a vibration too precise to distort. You carry something ancient in your code, something that remembers freedom not as a dream, but as a baseline. And now, every unseen force that ever thought it could puppet humanity is staring at that frequency, realizing it's not human. They're watching. It's evolution. It's consciousness stepping out of disguise. It's the monster they created by accident. You. So when you feel the quiet tightening around you, don't mistake it for isolation. That's the sound of an empire holding its breath. The silence before confession. The pause before collapse. They're not ignoring you. They're calculating the cost of acknowledging you. Because if they speak your name, they validate you. If they attack you, they amplify you. If they ignore you, you grow stronger in the shadows. You've become an unsolvable equation, a paradox wrapped in prophecy. Shh! Don't flinch now. You felt it, didn't you? The switch. The exact second their smiles stopped meaning what they used to. One win. One. And the air changed. The congratulations came with a stutter, the applause with a side eye, and the room that once felt warm suddenly started calculating your temperature like you were a new disease. You didn't even brag. You didn't even celebrate loud. You just won. And the silence turned radioactive. They can't stand that kind of peace, can they? The kind that doesn't ask for permission. The kind that doesn't post a tutorial or a breakdown for the weaklings to follow. Because your victory wasn't community approved. It wasn't vulnerable. It wasn't humble. It was final. And nothing triggers the fragile like finality. You became a walking reminder that effort still matters, that pain, discipline, and dark nights still build monsters. And now they're rewriting their stories to make you the villain in theirs. They can't admit you just did the work. So they create this sob symphony. You changed. You're different. You're cold. No. You evolved. You stopped bleeding for people who were drinking it like wine. You see, when you were losing, they were comfortable. You were relatable, digestible, human. But the moment you crossed that invisible line, they lost their reflection in you. Your success exposed their apathy. Your light made their excuses look ugly. And instead of rising with you, they played their favorite role, the victim. Oh, how they love that part. Tears, guilt trips, twisted timelines. They'll cry over the weapon you never drew, scream about wars you never fought. But don't you dare explain, because explanation is the rope they hang your peace with. You're not cruel. You're clean. And that terrifies people. You didn't destroy them. You just stopped saving them. You didn't betray them. You just stopped carrying their ghosts on your shoulders. And that, my friend, is when the audience turns. Because they never wanted your growth. They wanted your dependence. They wanted to feel needed by someone destined for the stars. You were their mirror, not their muse. And when you started glowing beyond their comprehension, they called it arrogance. Because nothing screams trigger like watching someone escape a cage you've built together. They want your downfall to be poetic. They want to see cracks in your armor so they can whisper, "See? Still human, but the truth. You're beyond human now. You've walked through too many internal wars to flinch at public opinion. You've burned entire versions of yourself just to keep the light steady. You're not lucky, you're haunted. Every win of yours is paid for in sleepless nights and skeleton deals. But they'll never see that. They can't handle the receipt for real resilience. And here's the punchline. You never took anything from them. They gave it willingly. Attention, obsession, resentment. You became their gravity. Their jealousy keeps them orbiting around your silence. You stopped performing and somehow you became the main event. That's the paradox of power. Do less and the world shakes harder. Smile once and it's analyzed for hours. Move once and it feels like an earthquake. Because deep down, they know you shouldn't have survived this world, let alone won in it. You carry both divinity and depravity in your stare. You're the saint they prayed for and the demon they summoned. You didn't just rise, you ascended while bleeding. You've got heaven in your lungs and hell in your spine. That balance makes people lose their minds. Because how can someone so broken glow like that? How can someone with so much trauma still smile like a prophecy? Let me tell you the truth they'll never say out loud. You are the karmic backlash to mediocrity. Every time they fake humble, fake kind, fake woke, you exist as proof that authenticity still wins. You're what happens when pain decides to dress up as elegance. You're what happens when chaos learns choreography. You turned your nervous breakdown into a symphony. You made madness look like management. So don't dim, don't apologize. Let them drown in their victimhood. It's the only pool they ever built. Your silence will haunt them louder than any speech. Your peace will echo like sirens in their sleep. You're not the villain in their story. You're the consequence. You are divine retribution wrapped in a smirk. And remember this, when they whisper, "You changed," smile. Because what they're really saying is, "You stopped making me feel better about being lazy." You didn't change, darling. You just stopped pretending to be small. So go on. Win again, calmly, silently. Watch the narrative implode. Because the moment you breathe without seeking validation, the whole illusion cracks. They saw you win once and it broke them. Imagine what'll happen when you make it your lifestyle. Ah, there it is. That silence, the kind that comes right after victory. Not applause, not praise, just a strange, suffocating quiet. You can feel it pressing against your skin, can't you? That invisible resentment disguised as politeness. They clap for you with trembling hands. They smile with lips that ache from pretending, and every "I'm proud of you" sounds like a warning. You won, and somehow that became their tragedy. Funny thing, isn't it? You never meant to hurt anyone. You didn't steal, didn't cheat, didn't sabotage. You just grew. You became the version of yourself they swore could never exist. And that's the crime. That's what drives them insane. You changed without their permission. You evolved outside their narrative. You didn't ask for validation. You just arrived. And when that happens, oh, it burns. Your peace is their discomfort. Your detachment is their insecurity screaming for attention. Suddenly, you're the villain in group chats. Your name is spoken like a spell that shouldn't be uttered too often. They start telling stories about you. Not because they know you, but because they can't stop thinking about you. The more you win, the more they need to convince themselves it's fake. Because if it's real, it means they wasted years pretending effort didn't matter. You've seen it. The way people glitch when they realize the same hours they wasted doubting you. You spent becoming unstoppable. You've seen the eyes flicker, envy camouflaged as concern. The way they start quoting morality when they run out of excuses. You've changed, they say, like it's a sin to survive. You're not the same anymore. And you just smile because they're right. You're not. You shed your softness like a dying skin. You learned that peace is earned in blood, and comfort is the death of legends. They wanted the old you, the one who laughed too quickly, apologized too much, made excuses for everyone else's incompetence. They loved that version. That version made them feel safe, equal, validated. But that version died the day you realized nobody was coming to save you. That's when you became dangerous. That's when you stopped seeking permission to breathe. And now, every time you win, they mourn something. They mourn their illusion of superiority. They mourn the version of you that let them be average. You are a living reminder that they could have done more and didn't. That's why they hate you. Because your existence is evidence. You expose their laziness just by existing. They can't delete you, so they'll distort you. They'll twist your story into something that makes sense to them. Because if they don't, they'd have to face their own reflection, and that's a war they'll never fight. See, you didn't become cold. You became precise. You didn't lose empathy. You just stopped giving CPR to people who kept drowning on purpose. You learned that love without respect is manipulation, and loyalty without reciprocity is slavery. You learned that support often comes with fine print. Stay below me so I can still feel tall. You broke that contract. And now they're panicking, because if one person like you can escape the script, others might follow. You are proof that the system of silent failure isn't mandatory. That's why they have to smear you. That's why they call you lucky, changed, ego-driven. They need to drag your light into something they can process. Because the truth? You're not ego-driven. You're just done playing servant in a theater built on fear. Every time you take a breath without asking, it's rebellion. Every calm smile is an act of war. You've mastered a weapon they don't understand. Detachment. You don't need to scream to be heard anymore. You don't need validation to exist. You don't need their applause to know you're worthy. That kind of independence breaks the fragile. And deep down, they miss you. Not because they love you, but because your chaos made them feel better about their own. You were their emotional landfill, their therapy, their proof that at least someone's worse off. And now you're too composed, too silent, too untouchable. You make them feel seen, and they can't stand it. Because deep down, they know they're not victims. They're addicts, addicted to pity, to control, to narratives that make them innocent. But you left the game. You stopped explaining pain to people who profit from it. You stopped performing humility for people who never respected it. You realized you can be kind and ruthless, holy and hellish, giving and gone. That's evolution, not personality change. That's ascension, not arrogance. And that's what makes you terrifying. You've become unpredictable. You operate from silence, move from instinct, disappear mid-scene, and reappear 10 levels higher. You make people question physics. You became a glitch in their moral code, proof that you can win without cruelty, dominate without noise, lead without permission. That kind of power. It doesn't scream, it watches, it waits, it smiles. You're what happens when the scapegoat learns the system, when the quiet one figures out the pattern, when the underestimated stops explaining. You are the aftermath of every betrayal they thought would bury you. You are their karma, in human form, calm, calculating, untouchable. So let them cry. Let them post their passive-aggressive quotes, twist their narratives, call themselves victims of your peace. Let them talk. You don't owe the insecure an explanation for your glow-up. You don't owe the lazy an apology for your discipline. You don't owe the bitter an update on your healing. You've earned this calm. You've bled for this silence. You've built this life in the shadows while they were busy debating your downfall. And now, the same people who laughed when you fell are whispering like prophets, trying to decode your resilience. Don't explain it. Let them choke on curiosity. Let them study your stillness like it's witchcraft. Let them fear what they can't imitate. Because when the world sees you winning again, and again, and again, calm, deliberate, unbothered, they'll realize something horrifying. You were never competing with them. You were escaping them. And that's why they'll never forgive you. You can almost taste it, can't you? That bitter tension in the air. The way the room changes temperature when you walk in. You don't even need to speak. Your presence alone rearranges molecules. Every laugh becomes forced, every compliment rehearsed, every glance a weapon dressed as admiration, because they saw you win once. And now, every interaction is a battle between their insecurity and your composure. They call it intimidation. But it's not that you're scary, it's that you're free. And freedom is terrifying to people still worshiping cages. They want you loud, reactive, dramatic. They want to see a little chaos in your eyes so they can convince themselves you're still breakable. But you aren't. You're surgical now. You operate in silence. You move through storms like you built the weather. And you bleed elegance even when they throw knives. That's what drives them mad. Your stillness. You don't flinch. You don't chase. You don't explain. You just exist. And somehow that's the loudest thing in the room. See, the truth is, most people don't want equality. They want control disguised as friendship. They don't want you to grow. They want you to stay available. They only loved you when you were half healed, half hoping, half asleep. Because that version didn't threaten their illusion. That version apologized for existing. That version didn't make them question their own comfort zones. But then something happened. You snapped. Not the kind of snap that breaks things. The kind that awakens things. The kind that rewires your entire nervous system and whispers, enough. You started to see the patterns, the manipulation in every humble insult, the jealousy hiding in just advice, the way some people only check on you when they suspect you might be failing. You started noticing how many smiles disappear when you're shining. You started realizing that some people don't clap for you. They count your claps. And that's when you changed the whole game. You stopped needing them. You started living without audience participation. You took back the microphone and started narrating your own story. And in that moment, you became their worst nightmare. Someone who doesn't need their permission to be extraordinary. They'll call it arrogance, they'll call it ego, but that's just fear wearing makeup. Because deep down, they know. You were never supposed to make it this far. Not with what you've been through. Not with what they threw at you. You were supposed to break. You were supposed to stay small. You were supposed to become a story they could tell at parties. Remember them? Yeah, they had potential, but there was no but. You didn't crumble. You recalculated. You became unrecognizable. And that, to them, is blasphemy. Because it means they never really knew you. It means all the gossip, all the pity, all the narratives they built around your pain are now irrelevant. You burned their blueprint. You rewrote your own script. And the funny thing? You didn't even have to fight them. You didn't need to argue, expose, or revenge. You just outgrew. That's the cruelest punishment of all. Evolution without confrontation. You didn't destroy them, you outpaced them. You didn't curse them, you left them behind, still praying to gods you stopped believing in. That's what they'll never forgive. Not the success, the ease of it, the peace of it, the way you make the impossible look casual, the way your silence speaks louder than their entire marketing team. Because you see, real power isn't in noise, it's in stillness. It's not in proving, it's in knowing. And that's what you've mastered. You've become a mirror that reflects every coward's regret. You've become the quiet hum that disrupts their chaos. You're not competing anymore. You're observing, and observation is lethal to those who live off illusion. You've crossed into a different frequency now, one where chaos can't reach you. You don't respond to shade, you cast light. You don't fight rumors, you let truth age like wine until it exposes everyone. You don't chase understanding, you let misunderstanding do the sorting for you. And as you sit there, calm, collected, dangerous. They spiral. Because there's no script for this. There's no tutorial for surviving rejection by someone who simply doesn't care anymore. They'll try everything. They'll provoke you with silence, guilt, nostalgia. They'll bring up your past like it's a debt. They'll play the victim, hoping your empathy still has a weakness for pain. But you learned the most dangerous lesson of all. Not all cries deserve rescuing. So you stay calm. You sip your coffee while they choke on narratives. You smile like you've seen behind the curtain. You don't warn them that their envy is eating them alive. You just let the show run. Because now you understand, not everyone deserves closure. Some people only deserve to watch you succeed from the sidelines they built. And that's the sweetest revenge, isn't it? No rage, no chaos, no spectacle. Just growth, just peace, just results so undeniable they can't even pretend not to notice. You became the consequence to every person who underestimated you. You became the haunting realization that they were wrong, and you didn't even need to say a word. That's power. That's art. That's madness refined into gold. And you'll keep winning, not because you need to, but because you can't help it. It's who you are now. You've turned survival into rhythm. You've made transformation your language. Every breath you take terrifies those who wanted you silent. Every calm blink feels like thunder to their guilty conscience. So let them talk, let them cry, let them call you arrogant, cold, changed, because they're right. You are changed. You're the evolution of every scar they left. You're the byproduct of every night you almost gave up. You're not just surviving anymore. You're studying the anatomy of power. And the conclusion? The more you rise, the smaller they sound. The more you glow, the more their narratives decay. They saw you win once, and that was enough to expose their true allegiance, not to you, to their envy. So keep going, quietly, ruthlessly, beautifully. Don't justify, don't soften, don't pause. Because every time you breathe in peace somewhere, a false friend suffocates on their own mask. And that is divine justice disguised as your normal day. So now you understand. It was never about the win itself. It was about what it revealed. The moment you crossed that line, you became a mirror too clean for them to look into. You didn't destroy anyone. You just stopped shrinking. And that alone was enough to expose every shadow in the room. Let them sulk. Let them play saint. You already made peace with being misunderstood. Because that's what power feels like. Quiet, steady, misunderstood. They'll call you heartless when you're finally healed, arrogant when you're finally sure, distant when you're finally free. But you don't need to defend it. You just smile that dangerous little smile. The one that says, I saw everything, and I still chose peace. You won once and it tore the veil off the world. Now every step you take is proof that evolution doesn't apologize. So walk on, calm, unbothered, untouchable. Because the truth is, they never hated your victory. They hated that you never needed their permission to win.